Hi, all. Welcome to Magnetic Moments. I'm Stacy Kornhauser, and around here, we celebrate the ways people connect, whether it's a first date gone right, a chance meeting that turned into years of laughter, or perhaps coworkers who became best friends. Think of this as your reminder that the universe has a great way of playing matchmaker, bringing the right people at the right time for whether it's love, friendship, or career. So come join me and let's have a listen. And for today's episode, I have Lydia and Richard. So
I'm Richard.
yeah, thank you. That is helpful in today's day and age. And so I will give you my magnetic moments though first with Lydia and Richard. So Lydia and Richard are really in-laws on the other side of the family for me.
The good
And
side.
huh?
The good side.
The good side. Okay, the good side. I hope my family does not listen to this. Or if they do, I'm gonna get lots of calls from them. And I have to say, though, they're truly on the opposite side, because I think for those of you who don't know, I am personally not married, so they're on the opposite side. But I have to say, they treat me like a sister and invite me to every event, and they have been absolutely awesome for me. So honestly, I'm trying to think of our first magnetic moment of it, and I think it's more of a lot of times I do get invited to a lot of family events when it's not everyone coming together. But I think for me, I think was Lydia when, one of your kids was graduating high school and you said, are you going to come to the party, right? To the graduation party. And I said, I don't know. I'm going to be down the shore. And quite honestly, I forgot because I said, I don't think I'll make it. And you called me to make sure I could come. And I was like, wow, that is just, I felt so great. And then, of course, I felt bad, but I was home early enough and I took a shower, hightailed it right over to your place. So thank you for that.
Oh,
which made us all very, very happy.
Thanks.
Especially Camille. That was Camille's graduation, I think.
Yes, it was. With that, why don't you guys tell us a little bit your magnetic moments, but let's start off first. How did the two of you meet?
okay. I'll take this, right? All right. So, well, we've been married 23 years, I think. Close. And we dated before we got married for about 8 years. The way we met was I was going to the school, college, and Lydia was going also to one school here in Jersey. And we don't need to mention the names of the schools, but I was going to one school. I had to transfer to this new school, but it was kind of expensive for me. And I decided to take one class in this other school where the leader was going to. So that's where we met. Switched only for one class to a new college, and we met in that class. And that's how we met. And all throughout the semester, we didn't talk to each other. And before the semester ended, I approached the little lady here and we started talking.
Yeah, actually, I was flying Newton's country and I was working full time, but I still had some extra time and I wanted to use it to improve my English skills, to learn more English. So I decided to take the class in community college. I believe it was English composition or English literature class. Actually, English literature. Yeah, so Rich is right. We did not talk the entire semester just because I was always sitting in the last row. It was a night class. I was kind of bored, and tired towards the end of the day. He would always show up at least 15 minutes late. And because there was no
Spanish style.
Sure. And there were no other seats available, he had to sit in the first row. So he would sit in the first row and start asking questions that were already answered before he got to the class. So yeah, the semester ended and somehow, I don't know, we were leaving the class together. He came up to me and asked if I had my final paper ready. At that time, I didn't even start the paper. I didn't know what topic that paper is going to be. And I was honest with him. He offered to help me write the paper.
Aww.
I figured like I cannot refuse that. Why not? Of course. So we made plans to meet at the library and work on the paper, on the final paper. So we did meet at the library just to find out that the door was locked. It was closed already at that time. So needless to say, we just went for coffee. And this is how everything started. You know, we had coffee together and then went to the movies a few times, went out. And
She kept asking me out every day. So I had to say yes at one point.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sure she did. I'm sure she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, so that's how we met in school. Yes. So yeah. And
But-
then we just dated for a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
8 years.
about 8
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
About 8 years, yeah.
Why so long?
Well, you want to take this?
Oh,
Yeah, actually, I was always trying to be honest with Reggie. I told him that I had different plans. I didn't plan to stay here for too long. I always wanted to go back to my country. It just took me a little longer than I was expecting. That's why I didn't want to commit to any serious relationship. You know, we were just dating with no obligations. And I always kept telling him, like, listen, you know, like this is what I want to do.
Yeah. So after several years of going back and forth with the idea that Lydia wanted to go back, after several years, she kept mentioning, I would like to go back. I would like to go back. So finally, I said, you should go back. So Lydia went back after dating for several years, I don't know, 6, 7 years probably at that time. So she moved back to her country. And so I stayed here in the States, single, happy for a few weeks.
good for a few weeks.
But yeah, so we kept in touch. We would call each other maybe once a week. So then after a few months, after 6 months or so, I decided to go visit her.
Mhm.
So I went to visit her, and then I invited her over to come back to the States. Then she came back, and we decided to be engaged, get married. You know, so yeah, this is why it took so long, because we didn't know what the plan would be for Lydia's future, basically. So yeah, took a while.
So let me ask you, was there any magical moments from either one of you? Because it went so long, or so years. And then last year it was, okay, wait a second, go ahead. I'm going to assume you supported her nicely when she went.
Right.
So were there any magnetic moments that drew you both back together? Because something had to have happened.
Well, I'll take this one on my
Take it.
behalf. So I started my life in my own country. I had my job, I had my apartment, I had my friends around, and I was thinking about Rich all the time. You know, we were in touch every time he called. It was like this magnetic moment, you know, like excitement and nice conversations. And then when he came to visit me, you know, we had several nice trips in my country, and we spent some time together. And I realized that actually, you know, like I miss those times together. I miss those moments together. And actually, I want to go back to America, because at that moment, this felt more like my home already. So, you know, the home is where your heart is, right? So this is where my hobby was.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
how about you, Richard? What about you? What was was there any magnetic moment?
Actually, it would be probably also the time when she went away. When she went away, actually, I felt kind of disconnected. You know, at the beginning was like, oh yes, single, whatever. Not true. You kind of miss the person that you've been with your several years together. So this is actually the magnetic moment that I felt disconnected, and I felt that even though sometimes if you go through a breakup, you are thinking, okay, put yourself together and you got to move on. Not easy, you know. And I know that even though I wanted Lydia to make her own decisions and try it out in her own country with her new life, I was not going to sit down to nothing about it. So I decided I better pack up and go talk to her. Maybe she can change her mind and then come back and be together. So I think it was a disconnection at one point that was the turning point to me.
Interesting. Your disconnection brought the connection closer.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you were saying, Lydia, right? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Right.
So how about since? So you've been married, you say around 23 years. We won't hold the exact number to
Yes.
you, Richard. So have you had any magnetic moments since between the two of you?
Oof.
Well, you
Oh,
don't have to
go ahead.
name them all, maybe one or two.
Well, I would say that it's always been fun. I would say it's fun, like having all these coming from different backgrounds, it's been really fun, interesting, and challenging at points. But I would say after we had our first child together, it was just different kind of connection. It changed. I love Lydia, to death. And first, I always thought like I cannot have a child because it just feels weird how you're gonna share your love. But then you have a child and your life changes, so you feel so much connected. Then just the thought that you could have a second child, I could not compute that because I felt that how am I gonna share this? Because seriously, it just feels so weird. But then you have a second child, and then this is how your love is, and those are the connections that it makes our relationship stronger.
Interesting you said that, because the first thing I thought when you asked this question was also the birth of our first child, the birth of Alex. Yeah. So not everybody knows, you probably do, Stace, that Richie is very afraid of blood, hospitals. He always has this reaction, like when he's in that environment, he's fainting. He faints. He just faints. He cannot be in hospitals. He cannot see blood. He cannot see needles, anything like that. So we were very worried about him attending the birth of Alex, right?
Yeah.
So we were discussing that with my doctor, because once when we were discussing the amnio procedure, he fainted. So I was thinking, like, I think you're going to be excused from the room. You should not be there because, like, we don't want all the attention on my husband instead of me during that time. But then the magic happens, and Richie attends the birth of Alex.
I was there the whole time. And
He's there the entire time. He puts himself together, and he acts like a hero. He supports me. He holds my hand. He whispers to my ear. He was just so supportive and so good. Twice, both times when our kids were born, that everything, all the worries went away. Yeah. And then from that moment until today, like every single day, when I see how good of a father he is, how great he interacts with our kids, how like how much he teaches them and takes care of them. He's just their hero. He is like, they admire him, they adore him, they love him to death. So I would never ask for their father or husband in that matter. So, every day, actually, it's a magical moment from then. Magnetic moment, I should say.
Actually, I think in this case, I know you're saying magic moment, but I think this magnetic moment brought up the magical moment, because you're right. That's pretty magical. Yes. That's awesome. That's a great story, because, I do remember being at the hospital when your first child was born. And I think I got there before your mom did.
Oh.
Because I remember being upstairs because I was so excited, because I talked about the naming. And you wanted one name, and I said, no, this one. And I was so
Yeah.
excited because, the hospital is not close, not too far from where I live. So
Right, yeah.
driving, I didn't even come home and park my car. I went right to the hospital. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to be there.
You were as excited as we were. Which
I
was
really
so nice.
was. I really was. So I guess that was actually, it was definitely a magnetic moment for me. Because
Oh,
you guys were
there you
just
go.
like, you guys were so happy that I was there, and I was so happy. And everyone says, and I remember someone said, well, don't you feel jealous? They're around your age. I said, no, I love the fact that they had this first child. And I don't know, not to say I love my own nieces and nephews, right? But they're also my niece and nephew.
Of
So,
course, yes.
yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. This was fabulous. And thanks for the sharing. I
Our
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you, Stace.
You're welcome.
We'll talk soon.
Yes.